Hey guys, Rusty coming at you, and today we're going to take a look a little bit in depth more at a couple of Kubis I got. And one of the things all three of these knives have in common is they are all Sherif Manganas designs. So Sherif is an industrial engineer, and he got into the knife business, shall we say. And it's nice to have somebody who has, shall we say, learned the trade and apply that to making knives. So these are three, I believe he has about 7 or 8 models. His very first one was a Kubi Veloce. He's got the Momentum, the Ruckus, I think one's called the Merst. And he did his own knife, the Camino, I think it was. So that what he went is these are collabs. So with a collab, in my opinion, you go to, for example, Kubi with your design and they buy it. You tell them what you want, and you have to come to agreement on whether or not you're going to put these little mill lines around that or not. And then they'll pay you for your design and they'll produce the knife. In your own, like the Camino, he did it all. He contracted Kizer to make the knife. So he said, I want a knife made to these specs. And they said, we need half down, and that's going to be tens of thousands of dollars. And he came up with it. And then what he needs to do is have the knives delivered, figure out a way to market them and sell them and ship them. So we took a close look at just a quick look at these. This one is, this came up before the Ruckus, again in D2. It has Oz 10 blade steel and what I'm calling a very, very thin tip. So this is a nice EDC knife. It does, look at how, you guys know how I like to use that blade right there. It came sharp from the factory. And actually I don't like the clip on this. I can feel it, but it's not horrible. You can move up here. So overall, this a couple years ago was kind of the cat's meow. I think it's good. I do have a couple knives I like better. And let's bring out the Ruckus. So this Kubi actually has one of the weaker detents I've had in Kubis. Now, having said that, you can still fire it out. But this one doesn't have that thin tip and doesn't have the thin, I don't know if we can see that. It's still pretty thin. I'm just sure this one is thinner. I'm sure this is thinner behind the edge. And this just has a shorter grind. In my opinion, it's going to be more of maybe like a field knife. And so, if I was out back in the days when I was working pipeline construction, this might have worked. Talk real quick about Oz 10. It's basically the formula for 440C. They got about 1% carbon in it, and then they start adding things. And in this one, they add cobalt. And if you guys know anything about that, that'll increase the temperature for which you quench it, which you harden it. So it actually allows it to make it a harder steel than 440. And that should equate to better edge retention. It's a kitchen steel. You'll find it in a lot of kitchen knives. It's not quite up at the level. It's a Japanese steel. It's not at the level of VG10. For those of you who already knew that, thanks for hanging through that. Then we have the Kizer Graziano, and this one is a gentleman's carry. Very stylish, great flipping action. Love the blade. It's got a satin finish on there. He's also got this harpoon, which, where do we see that? So we got some similar, different, similar but different, where we have a little recurve in there, but we got that swedging leading to the point, that swedging leading to a point. We got a flat spot here. We got a flat spot here. We have jimping, which is effective. In fact, about the same style of jimping on that. So very much can see his design language. This jimping's not quite feeling the same, but it's got that coating. Let's see, how about that? Top swedge, flat grind. So all of these have a saber grind that's flat. This one's higher, and this one, so lock up. So this is just the difference between Kubi and Kizer. Kizer, this one came out about a $70 knife, has a brass and linen micarta. And I did do a mod on this, and I'm not going to tell you guys what it was. I did in a video, and it's just real subtle. But take a look. He held out here for his own pocket clip. You don't see that on the Kizer knives. So that's not a pocket clip you'll find on any other Kizer knife that I'm aware of. He held out for that, put that little curvature into it, and I'd say he did that. Just really wanted to get that pocket clip out of the way. He did accomplish that. Something you aren't seeing on a lot of his knives is this move forward position. I do know from other people when this was hot, I think we're at about a 17 or 18 thousandths behind the edge on this. So, back to the pocket clip. You don't recognize this clip on any other Kubis. If you do, let me know. But he put his own, I think he held out and did the same thing with Kubi. We got nested liners here. So between these two, I would say, well, actually between all three, I would say that the steels are very equivalent. A lot of people would put the N690 just a tad above the Oz 10, and all the ergos are nice. I'll get to the action on this, and when I push that over, it tends to. I used to cut myself all the time because I would flick it and it would come and hit me. So if you do this, all right, yeah, you want to get your thumb up here so that lands on your thumbnail rather than down here and it comes across. Okay, so it's debatable. I can tell you this thing has bit me quite a bit. Let's take a peek at a little bit of cutting performance with these. I used this one, the Kubi this morning to do some cutting. Because of the thin tip, I wanted to, I got my walking stick, if you will, and what I had put on there is the grip. You can buy a grip. Hold on a second. You can buy a grip to put on power on things like rakes and shovels. And I wanted to put it on this one because I wanted more girth right here. And when I did, it wasn't tight around there, but it was super tight right here. And when I tried to move it off, it made this bark come loose, and I couldn't pull it off. And I just took this tip, and it did a great job cutting through. Just one of those things. I'm sure you guys have had them on your shovels, rakes. You can buy things to replace them. They're 12, 14, 16, 18 inches long. Normally you can get them in green and black. So anyways, very nice, if you will, on a nice tip. So when we get this ruckus, okay, it's sharp, just not quite as, you know, this one I think would, again, this would be if I wanted to cut a little harder core. Oz 10 should be fairly, what would you call it, tough. You know, as I said, it's kind of designed to be flexible, but it's not the toughest. I wish Kubi would do more 14C with instead of Oz 10, but when it comes between these two, Oz 10 and D2, I think a lot of people like the Oz 10 version. At least Kubi charges more. What do we got here? Okay, so that one's not as easy as the, what are we calling that? As the Momentum, but it's still, you know, a nice, yeah, that's got good performance here. So, and what are we looking at here? All right, okay, and then that would be what we call geometry. So your apex, all right, that's all your apex, and now we have to also force this blade through there. And traditionally, when you get a higher grind, you can see the blade is thinner up to here, and then over here it only goes up to there. Hey, we've kind of run on a bit. We're going to go ahead and close this one out. Thank you guys, and thanks to Sherif, Kubi, Kizer, and we will chat later. Hey guys, just real quick, I do have plans for this one. I'm going to do a die job. I hope you'll check that video out. So, and you'll probably see this one again. I want to do a little knife. Who wore it better?